One's into riding horses and riding the waves.
And one's into riding Uber Exec and riding solo by Jason Derulo.
But somehow it
It
works.
works.
This
This
is
is
Lady in the Camp.
It's Lady in the Camp with Kieran Richardson and Anna Passy. She's a lady, she reads, she's a pescatarian. He's a guy who's gay, He loves the TV and he is a kebabitarian. Yeah.
Yay, welcome to another episode of Lady in the Camp with myself, Kieran Richardson, and
Anna Passy.
last week's show, we mentioned a certain TV star. So we've done some digging and we found her. It's star of ITV's Airline. It's Jane Bolton. She's in the window seat. Hi,
Welcome, Jane.
Everybody will recognise your face from the start of the millennium. It was like 1999. Was it to 2005 or something like that?
I think it was actually earlier. I think it was about 97, yeah.
97.
So, yeah, hopefully if they still recognise me after 30 years, then I'm laughing, yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I grew up every Friday watching you on telly, just putting people in the place and taking no crap. So to remind the audience, it was Luton Airport
Yeah,
for EasyJet.
that's right.
Did you always work for EasyJet or was there another airline before that?
Well, I think when the programme first started, I worked for a handling agent called Reed Aviation. So when you normally travel from an airport, airlines normally pay a handling agent to do everything on the ground for them. So I worked for Reed Aviation. Hence, well, when it started, I was in that little pillar box hat and the red uniform. And then eventually EasyJet went self-handling. So I went into Orange. And then they went back to another agent, but by then I was management and in syncs anyway. So yeah, it was a bit confusing for people. They couldn't understand why it was in different uniforms. But I had worked with EasyJet as a handling agent and for them for many years, for about 18 years in total, I think.
And in terms of the TV show as well, obviously there was a series before that which was set in Manchester. I remember, I think it was like the Britannia team or something like that.
That's
so
right,
did
yeah.
you know the show before they asked you to be on it, and how did you become a part of it?
Yeah, so I did watch it because I think it was Jeremy at Heathrow, wasn't it? And then there was this poor lady that had travelled from Heathrow that was working there out to Spain to meet some young guy she'd gone on holiday with, and then he stood her up at the airport. And I remember thinking, oh, how funny is that? And then obviously to end up doing the same programme. But I think it was, they only did one series with Britannia and then they approached Stelios, not Stavros as many customers called him. And I think for him, it was free advertising. You know, it was a very clever marketing tool. And we sort of just got asked, a few of us that were on the front line, like myself and Katrina, would you mind being filmed for a few days, a couple of weeks at the most? And that obviously turned into years and years of filming. So it was a bit of a shock to the system because we'd signed all our lives away to do it for free and they could do whatever they wanted with it. And we didn't realise how long it was going to go on for or how big it was going to become.
So you didn't get paid for it?
No, darling.
Yeah,
No, we joke
this.
about it now, saying if it was now, we'd all be millionaires.
Well, that's
but no.
the thing, isn't it? Because, well, also some context for our listeners, and I'm not sure if you know this, Jane, but Kieran is obsessed with airplanes, going on airplanes. His favourite cuisine is airplane food. So you're like, airplanes are really your thing.
A
So
big thing. I can
I'm
tell
very
the
excited
difference,
for us
the
to get
sound
you
in the
on.
sky. I can tell the takeoff from an Airbus to a Boeing just
He
by the
knows his
sound
own
without
Oh my
looking.
God, that
airplane.
is obsessed.
But
Yeah,
also-
I don't know that.
At the time that this show was on, reality TV was nothing compared to what it is now, right? Now, everybody gets the setup of a reality TV. There are so many different reality TV shows. Whereas I feel like at the time, like you said, they
No
just
shame.
approached and said, like, can we just follow you around? It's a bit
Yeah.
more like documentary style. So did you sort of have that feeling of not really knowing what to expect with it all? Because it was so
I
different
think
at the time.
The first, obviously, to film one series took a year. That's how often things didn't happen. I think people thought it happened like that all day, every day, but it didn't. And of course, you know, we had no idea what to expect. So it was very much, you know, we were hooked up with mics from the beginning of our 12-hour shift for the whole day, and they would hear in their earpieces something happening and they would run in and then it would all kick off. A lot of people thought that it was all set up, but it wasn't. And a lot of the times, you know, the passengers were asked after the event, are you happy for us to show it? A lot of people said no and wouldn't sign the disclaimers because they didn't want it shown on TV. So a lot of the really bad stuff you guys actually didn't see. to be fair.
Wow. Because also I feel like because reality TV is such a thing now, people are quite aware, I think, when they're on those shows. Whereas at the time, it feels
so
like you guys
natural.
are so natural and so authentically just doing your jobs and being yourself. I think that's where the genius of it lies, because you really do get that. So were there things what was like the wildest thing that happened that never made it onto TV?
Oh my God. Well, we had luggage thrown at us. We were spat at. You know, some of the language was so. I mean, the guy. Oh God, the guy that I think this is another thing you learn, isn't it? That how they edit things afterwards, and I think you forget when you've been sworn at and treated really, really nastily by a passenger that, you know, I certainly forgot when I walked away and called that guy a tosser under my breath, that they would edit that in, and they did perfectly. It did look like I called it, but he was so awful off camera that they couldn't show it all in. But I think, you know, you live and learn, don't you? It was a very much a learning process as we went along. I think like the first time we watched the first program, when we got to see a screen, and we were like, oh my God, you just have no idea.
What was
how
it
it's gonna
like for
come
you
out.
though, from like just going to your works really, essentially, but then also then when you was on telly being a celebrity, did people treat you like normal passengers when they were going on holiday, when they weren't causing grief or turning up with out-of-date passports? Were they coming up to you for, I suppose it wasn't really selfies back then, was it, for like autographs and stuff?
No, it was autographs back then, I think, and I think it was quite bizarre. I think for us, you know, we never used to really watch it because that's like you watch going to work all day and then watching yourself at work every night. You don't want to do that when you're off work. The most bizarre thing I think for us was seeing ourselves in the magazines, all the photographs and everything, people turning up just to meet you. I did have one experience where I was onto the ladies for a quick wee, and someone had shoved her 4 or 5-year-old daughter underneath the gap in the door to ask if it was me while I was having a wee on the toilet. Like honestly, like saves up going through my shopping trolley. What you eat? Well, clearly food. So yes, there was few weird things. So we were sort of just thrown into the spotlight, really, without experience anything like it before. No support. No, it was a very strange. The first couple of years was quite bizarre, and then you get used to it. The cameras are there every day, so you sort of get used to that. But it's the aftermath when it comes out.
And then do you
It's
know
very weird.
like, there's lots of in loads of the episodes and stuff. There's people turning up just like a fraction late, and you go, no, the gate's closed now. That's it. Was there any power that you had to change it and make the plane wait for them, or was that was it?
No, not really. I think you knew. We knew when a check-in closes, particularly back in the day. Then, like now, the aircraft are bigger. There's more passengers and there's seat numbers. Back in the day, they just got in a certain order, and there were no seat numbers. You just got on and sat down. So we had 20 minutes from the time of it landing for people getting off and all the bags off and passengers back on again to go. So we didn't really have much time to play with. So if an aircraft was on time, you knew not to call operations because they would say, "Why are you calling?" So a lot of the conversations you've seen me having on the phone, I actually wasn't speaking to anyone because I'd already called for someone before and the answer was no. So, but of course you have to be seen to doing something. So a lot of the times I was just speaking to myself
That's incredible.
and holding the phone really tightly so they couldn't hear it going.
Do you think as well? But obviously there's like a really funny side to it, and the clips I feel like have had a really big resurgence, which I want to ask you about after. But there's a really funny side to some of the incidents where you've got some amazing lines, obviously, which I'm sure you are sick of having said back to you. But do you think as well, because I always marvel at air hosts and air hostesses for the level of patience that you have to have, I think, in that career. But sometimes, every once in a while, just as a passenger on an airline, you'll see something and you just think, wow, that person's being so rude. In another industry, I don't think people would be that rude. So do you think when it started to be shown, aside from the bits that were like amusing and funny and the kind of big stories, did you get the sense that did people give you the feedback? Like they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe actually what you have to deal with every single day. Because they're
Yeah,
outrageous.
I think so. And I think, you know, a lot of the time, to be fair, not all passengers, but probably I would say 70 to 80% of the passengers would come back at some stage and apologise for their behaviour, particularly if they'd missed a flight and they had to wait. They would come back and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that." But yeah, I do think people do behave differently within an airport. But then I suppose at the same time, if you do miss a flight, it is very, very stressful. So I think, you know, you get to know when you work in an industry like that it's just someone's emotions coming out. It isn't personally towards you unless they make it personal. So you sort of have to let it water off a duck's back sort of thing.
And
just deal with it
towards
until
the
they calm
end,
down.
towards the end of Airline itself, I remember when you was leaving and everyone was getting dead emotional, all the staff saying goodbye to you and stuff like that. Was there not a point with one like production and also the owners of EasyJet, because you literally put that airline on the map, where they were trying to persuade you to stay? Did they try and persuade you?
Well, I think behind the scenes at that point when I was leaving, I was working back for handling agent again, and I'd gone from being a check-in supervisor to dispatch, and I'd become a trainer. And by the time that I left, I was an operations manager, and the opportunity came up for me to move airports to do. And whenever you got a new contract, I went to that airport to do all the recruitment and the training. And then I would stay there and manage it for about a year before I moved on to the next one. And, you know, there was a lot of positions like that were mostly men, which is why I went to do everything like dispatch wise and learn how to train loaders and everything, because I wanted to be in that position and I had to learn that side of it to get that position. So it was a promotion, really. It was where I aimed to be. It was at the top of ground handling. It was that role was the top one. So I think for me, it was where I wanted to go next. So they never really, EasyJet never really asked me to stay because they knew that I would be going on to do EasyJet at other airports. So I went to Aer Lingus, yes, at Heathrow. I hated Heathrow, to be honest, as an airport. But then from there, I went to Belfast for a year to do EasyJet and then Gatwick to do EasyJet. So I still stayed with.
But what about production, though? Because you were the star of the show, were they not like, you can't let her go, do something, Stelios?
No, well, I mean, I think they always knew that my stance always was, you know, sometimes they would say to me, oh, we haven't had anything for 3 or 4 days. Can you just shout at someone? And my stance was always, well, you don't pay my wages. So and so does. So no. Yeah. But when I turned up to Belfast to work, I came round the corner to see where my office would be and the camera crew were there. And I thought, oh my God. And they were like, oh my God, you're here. We're filming here. I was like, no, I'm done. I've done enough years with it, so I'm over that now. But thanks.
Why do you think I feel like I get served clips. I got served the lobster clip the other day on, I don't know, on TikTok. That blew my mind. For anyone listening that doesn't know, someone arrived at your desk with a box of live lobster that they were taking as a gift to someone, right? And you were having to explain to someone why they can't take a box of live lobster on an airplane, which seems like it wouldn't be real, but it was real. But I feel like I've been served some of these clips. Why do you think it's having a bit of a resurgence at the moment? Like, I feel like it's really coming up.
I really have no idea. I think like my daughters came home from school about 3 or 4 years ago and said, oh, Mum, you know, it's really embarrassing. Loads of people are talking about you. And I didn't know what they meant. And apparently then I was all over TikTok and it had all blown up again out of nowhere. So most of the people that follow me now probably weren't even born when it came out, which I find really bizarre. But it's lovely. Like I have a lot of older passengers that come back to me with stories about how they used to watch me with their mum and their dad who aren't here anymore. I have stories for new people. I have a massive Gaelic following, which I love because I'm always at Pride and all the rest of it. So I just think it's brilliant. And
it's super,
I'm still quite shocked that it's all happened again, to be honest.
But I feel like there's a few things, because Benidorm's had a reset. There's a few things like from a bit more back in the day that have kind of come back around. And I just wonder if it was more, because it was all a bit of a simpler time and it was a bit more authentic perhaps. And I think you don't see as much of that's so natural. So maybe that's.
And also maybe it's like the name Jane. Obviously we had Jane McDonald and the cruise and stuff like that. And then we've got, you're like the Jane version of aeroplanes and everything. And what happened with Jane McDonald? She ended up being a loose woman and stuff like that. Is that something that you would consider in the future? Any more TV work?
No, I mean, I would love to. I had an agent at one time, and I did have an interview once to go on Celebrity Big Brother a couple of years ago when it was Sharon Osbourne and that. But my kids really didn't want me to do that, so I probably went into the interview with the wrong mindset. But yeah, I mean, I'd be open to not anything, but a lot of things. Absolutely, why not? You know, it's an experience, isn't it? So yeah, I'd love to. I mean, obviously, if I was to get offered to go on the Traitors or Celebrity get me out of here, then someone pick up the phone, please.
Oh my gosh, I would love to see you on Traitors.
It'd be iconic. Please, if anyone's listening or watching, please make it happen. We need to talk now. Anna's obsessed with baking and cakes and stuff like that. And when I told her that's what you do now, she was like chomping at the bit to talk about it. So I'll take it away, Anna.
Cakes are incredible. They are so brilliant. How did that come about? Is it something you've always done? Please tell me about your baking journey.
I've always done. I think when I had my oldest daughter, and then literally 2 years later, in the same week, I had my twin girls. So I was in a position where I sort of had 3 children under the age of 2. So I became a registered childminder for a short period. And Fridays was baking days, and it just happened that one week, one of my mums said, "Oh, could you make a birthday cake for us?" And it just grew from there. And then my twin sister, I've got an identical twin sister, funny enough, who already was registered as her own bakery. So from there, it sort of grew for me, and I got registered and did it all the proper way and did a load of training, and it's just grown into a business for me now, which I do. I don't do it constantly. I also work full time from home, and I run my bakery business. So yeah, wedding cakes and birthday cakes and
That's so nice because some of like my
Christmas tree.
earliest best memories, my mum bakes and she taught me to bake. So some of like my favorite earliest memories are baking with mum or, helping. There's a lovely picture that's my mum's at the counter baking, then my elder brother's on a chair next to her baking, and then I'm on like a little lower down, we're like little in order doing our little
That's what we were like.
baking. And I think it's such a lovely thing. And I'm obsessed with Bake Off as well. Oh my God, you should do Bake Off.
Yeah, me
Yeah, why
too.
don't you do Bake Off?
I just think it's a lovely, really wholesome activity and a really nice thing to do as a family as well. But then I looked at your cakes and they are really, really great. And my mum used to make our birthday cakes, but they were nothing like your cakes. No offense, mum. Like, kids create things that they want as well, don't they? Like I'd be asking for like a mermaid on a beach with a this and that, and she did a very good job. But your cakes are so beautiful. Do you still, now it's a business, do you still enjoy doing it, or is it a bit more like everything that becomes a business where it all takes the edge off and it's a bit more stressful?
I think not so much. I mean, for me, I'm obsessed about Christmas. So when it comes to Christmas, I do lots of Christmas trees and I do Christmas fairs. I do the couple of, so for that, I get really excited about making different slices of different things to eat. Like I'm already planning my caramel cake with dolce latte and actual caramel in the middle and all the rest of it, like a creme caramel. So I'm already planning on stuff like that I love. I love doing, I think I get excited about cakes where I can use wafer paper, like the paper that you get, the little triangle, the space ones with I like doing stuff like that. So the ones that I tend to do a lot, similar things, they get a bit, not boring, I suppose, but a bit monotonous. So yeah, I like doing something different.
Well, I'm right with
and I get
Christmas.
excited.
I feel like we'd be really good friends, Jane. Christmas.
She does Christmas candles. You do
my God, I
Christmas
love it.
cakes. It's
But
like a partnership
My
made in
best
heaven.
friend asked me to make her wedding cake a bunch of years ago. So I was her bridesmaid and she was like, you could make my wedding cake. And I was like, that's a great idea. It turned out to be a terrible idea because on the morning of, I was trying to construct this cake, but I was the bridesmaid.
Yeah.
So I should have been with my friend getting ready. But I was like, I'd put the icing overnight in a fridge and it was too hard. And I found it so stressful, but it seemed
stressful.
like a good idea and it's such a big deal, someone's wedding cake, right? And I wanted it to be perfect. And I'd spent months making these little sugar roses and flowers and cactus and all these things to go on it. But then it's the day of, isn't it? That is really stressful. And after that, much as I love my friend, I was like, no one else asked me to ever do that again. I thought I'd quite like to that would be an industry I'd be interested in, but that one taste of it made me think I haven't got the nerves for it.
So if we wanted
wedding cakes are stressful.
if we wanted to order a cake off Jane Bolton, where do we go?
Well, it's funny enough, it's called Party Paradise UK. There's been a few more Party Paradise UKs advertised. So it's literally a caricature of me in a pink and blue apron.
Oh,
so
well,
it's but I'm based in sort of southeast London, so it's mostly collection only from me, unless it's the wedding cake. So I don't post anything. I'm thinking about maybe starting to do some postal stuff, but so unless you live locally to me, I do have a lot of people say, I'll order this cake, I don't care how much it costs and I'll collect it. But sometimes it's like, when they've been a little bit too keen, I don't really want to.
Yeah. Has anyone ever asked you for an aeroplane cake? Have you ever asked?
No, yeah.
Is that what you're ordering?
Please knocking on the door.
Yes.
They have.
Yeah, no, I've done aeroplane cakes before.
That's incredible. Well, I really advise the listener, go and check out the cakes because they are really
Thank you.
Yeah, and I did see a few years ago, so I was following you online, about there was some merchandise. Can we still get tosser key rings?
Oh God, no! Do you know what? My key rings and my mugs sold out so quickly. I've still got luggage tags, and that's all I've got left. But I think I'm starting to go down the route because I have it made from a local family business in Cornwall, and it comes to me, and I post every order out myself. It was a lot. I actually didn't expect to have about like 4,000 orders over the space of 8 months, and I did. So I was constantly posting stuff. But I am thinking maybe I ought to do the key rings again. But it's the official merchandise, which is actually the same when you order it. It comes under the same Party Paradise thing. When people go, "Is this you?" It's like, well, yeah, because it's all done under my business one. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there that try and sell stuff that isn't mine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah.
But it just goes to show how popular you are, how popular the programme still is. It's still going viral on TikTok. Thank you so much for coming on, Lady in the
You're
Camp.
welcome. Thank you.
Honestly, we really appreciate it. You want a cake. I want the tosser key ring. We just want more of
get
Jane
our orders
Bolton. Lots of love. Thank you for taking the time out to speak to us today.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
guys.
Jane. Lovely to
Thank
We
chat.
love you, Jane. Sarah. Join us for part 2 for the main course, where Anna and I have the weekly catch-up. Welcome back to Lady in the Camp with myself, Kieran Richardson, and
Anna Passy.
it's time for the main course. Jane Bolton, how amazing was she? She's got the famous line, "It's a plane, not a bus." It's time for the main course. We've got some food, which
Can't
is...
board you from the coffee shop.
No, it's pesto and pine nut pasta.
Okay.
And I've
lovely.
also got us a drink, which is a Naked's... I'm not Naked. The drink's not Naked. It's by someone called Naked. A Blue Machine Super Smoothie.
Ooh.
Blueberry, goji berry, blackcurrant, and it's boosted with Vits B, C, and E.
Do you like goji berries?
What, I've never had goji
I
berry, but I'm
sometimes
about
put them
to.
in my porridge.
Give it a
They're
shake.
nice.
Got you one as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
And then, do you like pesto pasta?
Who doesn't like pesto pasta? I think that is a brilliant go-to meal. I'm worried that yours doesn't seem to have a lot of cheese on it, but
It is what it is. I was too excited about
is
Jane
what it
Bolton
is.
off Airline,
Jane
to
Bolton,
be
she's
honest.
so brilliant. I wish I had the confidence of Jane Bolton, don't you?
I know. Is it a bit weird now if I do message and go, can I have a cake?
No.
Taste test.
We could see if she could do a lady in the camp.
Lady in the camp cake.
So, did you bring
That's
me
lovely.
food or you just got your own
Oh,
snack? there?
sorry. It's under the cloche.
Very rude. Ah. Okay.
There we go. Dig
We've
in.
scrapped the blindfolds today.
Yeah, we're just
We're
going
too
straight
hungry,
in for it.
basically.
Yeah, we're starving.
It's a much
Uh,
later.
Right, so
So
it's
did you
time...
make this?
I did make it, yeah.
Go on.
It was just it's so basic. It's just the pesto pasta, which is the pasta cooked, mix the pesto in with some green stuff, lots of herbs, which is actually going to get stuck in my teeth, which I'll be fuming about.
I love pine
And
nuts.
then
Do you toast your pine nuts?
I just grated the pine nuts in it.
Grated pine nuts? Are you
Yeah.
sure? Do you mean parmesan?
No, grated it.
Grated pine nuts?
Maybe it wasn't pine nuts. It was
I
some
don't
sort
know
of
how
nut,
you would do that.
sort of nut. I just grated some nut in
Oh,
it.
it's really tasty. Thank you.
And then I forgot to ask, have you got a nut allergy? It's already in your
No.
mouth. Have you got a nut allergy?
Too late.
No, she survived. Anyway, I think it's beautiful. What have you been up to this week?
Well, the highlight was I've worked a lot this week, actually. So I had my weekend free and I had no plans whatsoever, which is a problem sometimes for me because I will find something stupid to do. And I've been really into this DIY show I've been watching at the moment. Oh, and I think it's on Netflix.
This one you told me about when I said you could star in it as an actor, but you said it's not.
Yeah. So I've been really into
Oh, you're
that.
really into it then?
There's
2 weeks deep.
3 series of
Oh,
it.
3 series. Go on.
But what it's done is made me, you know how you just impromptu like redecorate your house like every week?
Yeah.
It sort of has given me a bit of that. So I was watching it one night and it was quite late and I was a bit bored, if I'm honest. And then I went on Instagram for a little scroll and I saw some account that I follow that does like lovely found antique pieces and they go to like French flea markets and find lovely bits of furniture. And she was like, latest haul. So I clicked through it and before I knew what I was doing, I was buying this like Georgian old cabinet. And I just was like, yeah, I'm going to get that.
Has
And
it
then-
turned up? Is it a scam or is it real?
No, so I bought it. It's not a scam because I know the place it came. Well, I know the company it came from because I followed them. Pressed it, clicked it, went to bed. Then the next morning I woke up and thought, why did I do that?
It might still be a...
No, it's not. I've
The
got
Tinder
it.
swindler, he was still a person.
Well,
that
then they messaged me and
people
said
really followed. He scammed
you've clicked
everyone.
local pickup because it was like £100 to have it delivered.
I
It's
think
only a
that
little
sounds
wall
like a
cabinet.
scam.
It's not a scam. It was just like a stupid, without thinking decision that I made. I don't even need the cabinet. I don't know why I did it. It's because they'd said how nice the wood was. And on my show, they're always talking about wood. And I think I just got a bit confused. So I ordered this cabinet that was quite expensive. And I thought, I'll go and get that myself. And then when I looked on the map, it was 2.5 hours drive away. And they messaged me. This was a few weeks ago. And they messaged me and said, like, do you
Can I
know,
have your bank
do
details?
you know you've clicked local pickup? When are you coming for it? It's just sitting in the shop. So I was like, oh, quite busy. But because I had no plans this weekend, I was like, Saturday, I'll make a day of it. I'll drive over, I'll pick my cabinet up. And then it turned out to be such a hot day. So I ended up getting up at like 7 in the morning, driving 2.5 hours. And there was a festival near it. So that was traffic. Got there, starving. I was like, couldn't find anywhere I wanted to eat because, you know, I'm quite picky. Had a coffee, picked up my cabinet, got back in the car, drove another 2.5 hours, 5 hours of driving. I did an entire audiobook on the drive.
Did you listen to our
on my
podcast?
own. No, I didn't. I listened to an audiobook. Got home. By the time I got home, I was like famished. I was like weak. You know, when you
Did
feel
it?
a
What
bit
if it wouldn't have
dizzy.
fit in your car?
Well, I haven't just, it's the thing I've thought about least in my entire life. It was so impulsive. I think you're rubbing off on me. And then I got home and I was like, I don't even know if this can go on the wall. I don't know how to attach it. It's really heavy. I don't know what I'm going to put in it. So I feel like I've just caused myself a problem. And I probably should have just emailed and said, I ordered this on
Can you send it to this address?
impulsively. Can I not have it?
Yeah. Well, what have I
Anyway,
been
that's
up to
what I've
this
been
week?
doing.
If you follow me on social media, you'll know that I'm knee deep into holidays at the minute. So basically, my kids are off school and we're trying to make as many memories as possible. So we've been bits of the UK, we've been on a cruise, we've been to Spain, and we're trying to go to a few more destinations before the summer is out. Because I think as a parent as well, there's only so many summers that you're going to get with your kids before they become teenagers, and they're like, I don't want to go away with you anymore. So I'm just trying to make this summer the most special.
Yours won't do that. You go on amazing holidays. They are going to be doing that till they're into like their 50s.
I don't know whether they will. So far we went to the Cotswolds.
Oh my gosh!
That was a recommendation from you.
Don't you just think? Did you love it?
It
Isn't
felt
it
very
beautiful.
It did feel very posh for me. It was somewhere called Cirencester.
Oh, beautiful.
And we stayed in a hotel on a lake. Is there a famous lake?
Probably.
We stayed. It was like right on a lake, basically.
They have gorgeous little pubs. It's so
It was
nice.
just lovely and it was quaint. And then I was researching it, and apparently David Beckham and Victoria Not kids live there as well. So I was trying to do some star spotting. Didn't actually see anybody. Then we went on a cruise round the Norwegian fjords.
Fjords. Beautiful.
Didn't know what to expect, but had an amazing time. Yeah, it was just. It also I was a bit nervous, thinking, "Oh, it's a cruise. Am I going to get seasick or anything?" Because I've gone on one before and it was quite choppy. But because it's the fjords, you go really slow, and it's the most scenic thing you can ever see.
I haven't done it. It's so on my bucket list. It looks beautiful.
You don't just see one waterfall; you see about 10. It was.
It's like that in New Zealand. By the end, we call them casual waterfalls because they're so epic. But by the end, you've seen like 1,000. Like, another casual waterfall. So stunning.
that was incredible, and there was some other celebs on the boat as well. So we did some star spotting on that. That was good. And then we've been to Spain, Mallorca, my ye old favourite. I like going to that. There's just a hotel that I've been to many times with the kids, and it just feels a bit. You go somewhere and you just continuously go. It becomes like home a little bit.
Nice.
All the staff know us. The entertainers have Phoebe and Chase have grown up with the entertainers as well. So it's just every time we go, they're like, here they are.
So just to be clear, you have been to the Cotswolds on a Fjordland cruise to Spain, and I went on a 5-hour journey to pick up a cabinet.
And I went to
Your life
Bournemouth
is
as
better
well.
than mine.
And I went to Bournemouth. And Southampton, technically, so that's where I had to get
Holy
on the
moly,
ship.
Bournemouth.
Yeah. Bournemouth, actually.
That's almost Cornwall.
Well, I know, because I said to Carl, I said, I just want to do Cornwall, let's do it. But in my head, because we live in Manchester, for me, Cornwall just seems like an eternity away to get there. And already I knew that we had to drive to Southampton to get on the boat, and that was stressing me out, being like, can I sit in the car for that long? So that's why we kind of we did the Cotswolds first, and we did this, then we did Bournemouth to try and split up the journey so it wasn't
Lovely.
as much.
And
it was it made me appreciate the beauty of the UK and the beaches that we've got. And actually,
Stunning.
you don't always have to hop on a plane to go and feel like you're on holiday, because it felt quite magical.
I think it's the weather, isn't it? I think when you don't have the weather, you feel like, well, I want sunshine. But when the weather is as good as it has been recently, I mean, last time I went down to Cornwall, I was like, I've never seen it. It was beautiful. The water could have been like the Caribbean. It was so turquoise and warm and beautiful.
Is there just one beach in Cornwall, or several? Like, it's at the bottom, innit? So is it just one beach? Why is that funny?
You're funny.
Why is that funny?
Yeah, there's just one beach. It's called the Beach of Cornwall.
Really?
Yeah. You get to the end. It's Land's End. You get to the end and there's one beach and it's just called the Beach of Cornwall.
Okay.
So you'll know it's beautiful.
So you know when you get there, you're
Yeah.
there. Because when I was looking on the thing, I was like, Anna comes here all the time, but there was so many different places. I was like, I don't really know which bit she goes
There's about
to.
1,000 beaches in Cornwall.
Oh, is there?
Beaches, coves. It's like a whole
Oh.
end of coast. You Wally.
But I got herbs in my teeth. No.
Yeah.
I have.
No, you haven't. You haven't.
All right.
We're doing
and
all right.
apart from that, I don't really think I've done anything else.
Yeah, that's a busy old time, isn't it? It sounds gorgeous.
My hair's
You look well.
growing.
Your hair looks beautiful.
My hair's not. It's just like a thing at the minute. I put something online as well, because I don't really own my own hair. I'm an actor, so you can't just do what you want with your hair. So you kind of have to do what you're told. But it's got to that point now where I'm like,
I love it. It's got like a nice, for listeners, it's got like a bit longer on the front. It's got a nice little wave. You look boyish. You look impish. I think you look great. And you look like you've been on holiday for the last however many weeks. You look really well.
I know, because that's another thing, that I can't own my own
life.
If I can't tan, because you're on telly, you got to have continuity. So
I don't listen to that.
I'm trying to and I wear SPF anyway, because I do have sun damage from growing up as a kid. I didn't really wear suntan lotion as a kid. I knew SPF. It was a thing, but our parents just didn't. It wasn't a thing, was it? Is it a thing? Was it? It is a thing now, but back in the day.
Yeah, less of a thing. I think
Yeah.
people are more aware now. Of
And now we know,
how
because as I've got
important
to
it is.
40 years old, my skin is like leather, like old rope. Yeah, that's
Old
it.
rope. That's what I think.
Nothing
it
else
is for you.
exciting.
Brilliant. Well, that's gorgeous, and we've had some nice pasta. I probably will.
What are
eat
you
the rest
giving
of
this out of 10?
Right. Okay. For skill level, like a 2. Right. You put some pesto and some pasta in a bowl, but for like you can't beat it taste. I think there's something so comforting about a big old bowl of like who doesn't like pesto? It's delicious. More cheese for me, but I really like it. It's really nice. I'd have it warm as well.
Okay. Right. Well, before we go to part 3, we've been reading all your comments on social media. It's so funny because obviously we're Hollyoaks actors. That's where we're from. So when we're like, who do you want on? It's a lot of Hollyoaks people that people want on.
Well, I've had a few people from the show be like,
They want to
"Can I
come
come
on?
on?"
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I can't tell you now. I'll tell you later. I've got some names. But please let us know in the comments who you want, because you said Jane Bolton, and all of a sudden Kieran's ringing me saying Jane's going to come on the show. So you name it, Kieran will make it happen.
But well, I'll try and make it happen.
Kieran will make it happen.
I was talking to one of the crew before about this. Well, obviously we love doing this podcast, but the hardest bit is getting the availability of people that we want on the podcast. We've had some really big names that were like, yes, we've got them, they're coming on. And then at the last minute, their schedule changes and we can't get them on. So we are trying. So
but we're not
please
going
bear
anywhere.
with us.
So we will make it happen at some point. But let
Join
know.
us in part 3 where the candle's going to be lit. And this week we are actually having dessert.
Lady in the camp with Kieran Richardson and a Passy. She's a lady that reads and is a pescatarian. And he's a guy who's gay, who likes the TV and is a kebabitarian. Yes, a kebabitarian.
Welcome back to part 3 of Lady in the Camp. So we're going to slow things down a bit. It's time for dessert, which means
The dessert section.
we're going to be dishing out some really good sage advice to one of our listeners.
Can I just talk about this hair for a second? Because my hair's so long, I keep doing that.
I know, like a
I also
pony.
like keep lobbing my head to the side a bit. What are they called? Like mod people, emos, or what are they called?
Slightly emo fringe. Or
But
My
I
Little
can't help-
Pony.
I
If
just
you used to
like-
watch that.
With my head now like this, I need to tilt it straight. So we're having a dessert section. I actually thought I'd bring in a dessert this week. You ready?
Oh, we never get dessert. Oh,
Milky Way croissants. Or how do you say it?
croissant.
Croissant. It's not though. People say it with the R.
They shouldn't.
Oh, right. So let's try it. Do you like a croissant?
I like a croissant. I don't think this is technically...
Fluffy croissant with a creamy Milky Way filling. All right, get your chops around this.
Thank you. They look great.
Let's see if it's nice before we do this week's dilemma. You could probably heat them up so the chocolate's a bit melted. Oh, quite tough.
It's really dry.
It's really dry. Where's the chocolate? I'm halfway through, still not got chocolate.
Can I say that's not for me?
Let me just get the chocolate bit first.
Yucky. That is... I don't know what the French would think about calling that croissant.
Doesn't really taste like Milky Way.
2?
I think
A 2? Actually, I'm going to give that less than as a 0 for me. No, thank you. Please never bring that for me again. It's also not... Croissant's not dessert.
I'm gonna say, if we heated it up, it would actually be quite nice. If it was all melted, it would be semi okay. No,
Not for me. Not for me.
you. Right, let's give out some advice. Who's going to be on the phone this week?
Hi, Kieran and Anna. It's Maria. I have a dilemma. I would like to take my grandchildren, a boy and a girl, aged 12 and 13, to London to see a West End show. They've never been before, so I'd like to know if you could tell me which would be the best one to take them to for the best first experience.
Right, Maria,
Gorgeous.
12 and 13, first trip to London. Is it first trip to London or just
It
to see a
sounded
show?
like the first trip to
First trip to
London
London.
and a show.
Got
What a
loads of tips here.
Exciting trip.
Let me
How
just
nice.
Flick me fringe. Right, so tip number 1, taking kids to London. I think going on the tube, it's all right for 1 or 2 things, but it gets a bit hot, it's a bit sweaty. Sometimes it's intimidating because there's a lot of people there. Getting a taxi is quite expensive. So what I've done a few times, just to make it like, oh, look, kids, this is something different. Uber boat. On the
Ooh.
Thames, all you do is it's
That's
dead easy. You
lovely.
don't need to get a ticket. If you've got a card on you or the thing on your phone, you just tap it and you get on. You could get on at the, what's that big eye thing called?
The London Eye.
The London Eye. You could get on there and then you could go up to the Tower of London place, which is that way.
Yep.
And then as soon as you get off or wherever you get off, you just tap it again and then it'll charge your card. And it's not that expensive, if I remember rightly. There's also a little bar on there so you can get some snacks, maybe get a chocolate croissant. So you could do that. You could then stay. What hotels would I recommend? There's a Premier Inn actually right next to the London Eye, which is good for kids. There's also this really beautiful, quaint little thing called Cartwright Gardens, and it's a bit like
I don't know that.
Oliver Twist world. It's like a street that's oval like that. And there's some like bed and breakfasty type places. If the budget's not as much, I've stayed there. It's a really nice little quaint little street. And there's a little outside tennis court outside.
You have to send. What's that one called?
It's just good with kids. It's
Cartwright. What did you say?
Cartwright Gardens, and
Sounds
it's
lovely.
about 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes from Euston. So as soon as you get off the train, you could just go there, and it's almost near Bloomsbury, I want to say. So if you want to be in London, but sometimes I think in the hustle and bustle, it can be too intimidating with kids when it's so busy, and you like keep hold of me, don't get lost. So Cartwright Gardens, I recommend that. And in terms of seeing a show, Matilda was
Matilda
incredible.
is good. So 12. Did you say 12 and 13?
12 and 13.
So 12 and 13. Matilda, I think that's an appropriate age. I think Matilda's great for younger children, but I think 12 and 13 it's just a very magical show, isn't it? I think that's a beautiful one. If they're depending on, I don't know, is there a rating for Harry Potter? Is there a rating for Stranger Things? Because I think if they're
I guess there would be for Stranger Things. I'm not sure.
check
about
the
Harry Potter.
ratings. I think if they're a bit more sort of, I don't know what the word is, if they can handle a little bit more, because they're a bit scary, aren't they, those? But again, so magical. But I think you cannot go wrong with Matilda. I just think it's really family-led. It's really beautifully done.
Frozen's
Really
a good
fun.
one. I've seen Frozen in London. That was quite good. The
Can't-
bit
can't
when
wait.
the dress changes, that was magical.
Oh, The Lion King.
The Lion. I've not seen the Lion
The
King. yet.
Lion King. I'm going to rescind Matilda or The Lion King, depending on what your grandchildren like. Because Matilda is very magical, but The Lion King is an experience I think everybody has to do because it's so creative. It's not like anything you could imagine or anything you've seen before. The music's brilliant. And I just think the creativity with the costumes and the movement and the sets is incredible. I feel like everybody should see The Lion King at least once.
Two musicals I'm fuming I never got to see. Viva Forever, the Spice Girls musical, then got
fuming.
took off. I don't know why, but really wanted to see that. Actually, Tamara Wall, that played Grace Black in Hollyoaks, she was in that.
Yeah, she was. She's
And then
excellent.
what's the one with steps now? Here and Now. It's called Here and Now.
Blank for me.
The Steps. Do you like Steps, the band?
Not as much for me. And no, thank you.
Okay. Did Slipknot not do a musical theatre
It's
production
coming next year.
in the West End? Live in the West End. Right, sadly, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you to Jane Bolton, our amazing guest for MyTV's, I was going to say headline show, but it is a headline show. Airline. Thank you to Anna Passy.
Thank you to Kieran Richardson and his Fringe. Thank you to Milky Way for making those croissants.
Yes,
Really
and
good.
the pine nut pesto thingy was an
A
all
hit.
right
Yeah,
success.
hit. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like and subscribe. Give us a follow. Do all of the normal things that you know how to do.
On next week's show, we have got a Coronation Street / Strictly star. Who's it going to be?
Could it be?
Get guessing online now, and we'll see you next week. Ta-ra!